Let's talk to the local councillor, Ben Miskell, who's with us on BBC Radio Sheffield. Good afternoon, Ben.
Hi there, Howie.
Now, this sounds like an antisocial behaviour problem, doesn't it? Has lockdown, do you think, played a part in this?
I think it has undoubtedly played a part in it. There's some anecdotal evidence, I think, from residents who tell us that sometimes when classes at school are sent home because their bubble perhaps collapses, that you get more young people on the street, and that can cause various different issues in the community. But I'm really worried about it, and I'm not really surprised because, unfortunately, people in Arbourthorne have become quite desensitised to this issue. I think if this was to happen in Cllr or Door, quite rightly, we'd never hear the end of it. But because in communities like Arbourthorne we often see these issues quite a lot, actually people think that it's a normal course of life, and it really isn't. It's absolutely not acceptable.
From what you're saying, has this happened before then, Ben?
We have had incidents of various antisocial behaviour that's been directed towards cars and other vehicles on streets around Arbourthorne, which is really quite worrying. And people are telling us that this isn't simply just directed towards buses. Residents are telling us that taxis also face particular issues, particularly along East Bank Road, and that's not acceptable as well because it's causing a real risk to the life of those passengers in those vehicles, but also those drivers of those vehicles who turn up to work and expect that they're not going to be the victim of some person throwing a missile at their vehicle.
And it's really dangerous as well, I would have thought, with passengers on those buses and the drivers of the buses. If they're hit by a large rock, it's not going to be good, is it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one of the things to note here is that we've had a building site just off East Bank Road, and that's absolutely wonderful. We're getting more housing developments. We do need more homes in the area. But with that has come the potential for more antisocial behaviour, people breaking into that site, being able to take lots of different things from that site, and therefore being able to throw other objects at buses and other vehicles on the street. And that's a real concern. And what I want to make sure that happens is that we get the police working with the housing developer over there in order to target hard at that site so that people can't break into it, that they can't use objects and throw them at buses, and that ultimately we can solve this issue, get the buses back running, and get people so that they can visit their relatives, so that they can go about their normal business, that they can go to work, because it's really important, and people are telling me that it's really impacting their lives in a really negative way.
So have you spoken to the police? Have you spoken to the First Bus Company?
Yes, I spoke to both First and the police, and I do have an awful lot of sympathy, as did local resident Stacey for First. It's really difficult, and we want to make sure that their drivers and passengers are absolutely safe, and we want to make sure that this antisocial behaviour problem is sorted before those bus services recommence. They're committed to working with the police. I've spoken to our local police, and they say that they are now speaking and working much more closely with the building site on Berners Road, just off East Bank Road, where we suspect much of these objects are coming from. And we're hoping to find a resolution over the next few days, really, because it really is unacceptable, and people need to be brought together in order to solve this problem so that we can get these buses restarted for the people in Arbourthorne.
Ben, many thanks for your time. That's the local councillor for the Arbourthorne estate there, Ben Miskell. We'll be talking to the First Bus Company, First South Yorkshire, in the next hour here on BBC Radio Sheffield, getting their side of